Executives at the world's biggest car companies are here in the Big Apple this week for the New York International Auto Show. One luxury company in the spotlight here is Aston Martin. It is unveiling what some are calling a supercar. I think it's safe to call it a supercar, the Vulcan. CEO Andy Palmer joins us now, and just full disclosure, I'm currently driving an Aston Martin. They've lent me this Vanquish to test out for the week, and it's going pretty well.
I would think so.
I've actually driven now every one, I have to say. Interestingly enough, my favorite is the Vantage GT, which is the lowest entry price.
Yeah, it's all about fun.
The most connection, I think, to the road, although the sound this makes is amazing. I'll show you later.
And who doesn't buy a car for the sound it makes?
It's important, right? And that's why I think it's interesting that I read in the Wall Street Journal overnight, you guys are thinking about making an electric version of the Rapide S, which is the four-door. That would put you in direct competition, I guess, with Tesla, although at a higher sort of end on the luxury scale, but it wouldn't make much noise.
Well, I think that's what makes it kind of attractive. And there's reasons for doing an electric car, obviously. One is that I really hope that we can keep the V12 alive forever, you know, and that means you're fighting CAFE regulations and all the rest of it. And the best way to do that is...
You fight the good fight.
We fight the good
us.
Fight, absolutely.
Yeah.
And I love it every morning as well. But... you know, to do that, to keep the average, you need something that's very low emissions, and there's nothing lower emissions than an electric car, so it's zero emissions. So the balance or the average kind of averages itself out. Astons are also about the sound. I mean, they've always been about the sound. When you start that V12 or that V8, it just puts a smile on your face. If you follow the normal trend of things, you're going to go V12, V8, V6, i4.
Don't do that, please.
Don't do that, absolutely.
No.
So when you want that experience, what's the alternative? Well, an interesting alternative is silence. You get all of that acceleration, all of that torque, and the silence. So it kind of fits rather nicely.
It's almost more shocking.
Yeah, exactly.
When you hit 0 to 60 in less than 4 seconds and don't hear anything.
Exactly.
But it's working for Tesla.
Works for Tesla. They've done a stunning job, and they've laid down the road for us. Obviously, we'll put a car which is, you know, from our point of view, more luxurious. But yeah, they've laid down the track.
Who do you work with? You're not going to work with Tesla.
No, we won't.
But you are talking to people in Silicon Valley, at least according to Mike Ramsey's story in the Journal.
Yeah.
Who are you going to work with there?
Well, we haven't made our sourcing decisions yet, but we're interested.
You wouldn't like to announce them right now?
No, I'm sure they'd like me to announce them. But no, we're looking at various people around the world, but there's a group in Silicon Valley that looks really interesting.
How about the financing for this? I mean, obviously it's going to cost a lot. Invest Industrial, I know, is one of your partners willing to put in more money. All your shareholders come together and said we're willing to pay for a new car?
Yeah, we put a whole plan together. So it's not simply about the Rapide, but we put a whole plan together that brings a complete replacement of our sports car series, brings the DBX, which is a crossover car that we're going to be doing.
Also possibly electric? Also
possibly electric. And it reintroduces the Lagonda brand at a little later date. So that whole portfolio has basically been approved by our shareholders. We have Kuwaiti shareholders and we have Italian shareholders, and of course 5% with Daimler. And we're in the final knocks of basically raising that finance.
Andy, there is so much money, there's so much demand out there for SUVs. I was stunned to learn that Porsche gets more than half of its revenue from the SUV. Now, why are you making just a crossover? Why not go for, you know, the full-fledged soccer mom tank?
Because we make beautiful cars. So,
which has to be smaller.
Well, I mean, basically, it's sort of, you know, an SUV, and in my career I've done many SUVs, but an SUV by its nature has to be all about versatility, and essentially you end up with a box. And Aston is not about making boxes, it's about making beautiful, beautiful cars. So it's all in the name, DBX. You know, with the DB9, you know, you go with the DB4, the DB5, the DB6, the DB7.
The DB10 is a gorgeous car, which James Bond is driving in the new movie. Are we ever going to see that car on the street?
Only if I'm driving it.
How many are there?
There's 10. There's 10. And
there's only 10 of them.
They're done for the movie, and obviously we use it as a way of showcasing the new design language for Aston.
So what's the next road car that we can get that will make noise? I mean, what's the new product coming out from Aston Martin, and when?
Well, as I said, during the next couple of years, we'll completely replace the current sports car lineup. So that's obviously the DB9 replacement, the Vantage replacement, and the Vanquish replacement. We'll cap production at 7,000 units a year, so we'll keep that exclusivity.
Right now you sell about 4,000 units a year.
We do, but in our history, when we've launched new cars, we were typically somewhere between 7 and 8, and since then we've doubled our sales network, so free demand is obviously far above 7,000.
Well, you mentioned the 5% partnership with Daimler. Do you think you have any plans to increase that? Will you work closer together with AMG?
We're already working pretty closely together. We've obviously, we take from them their electrical architecture, which is invisible to the customer, but very good for making sure we've got all the safety systems in the cars. And we take, in future, we'll take a V8 engine from them. But no plans beyond that right now.